What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful Wrestling Podcast. It is April 3rd edition. Technically our second show today. Technically our third show today if you all include MMA podcasts. As always, visit Fightful.com for all your pro wrestling news, interviews, podcasts, photos, videos. We have it all at Fightful.com, from a post-show podcast to podcasts with wrestlers to podcasts with millionaires who start wrestling websites. That's a fun one. And, of course, a full slate of MMA coverage. We have Showdown Joe and Mike Straw in Buffalo to cover UFC 210 this weekend. So I want you all to come hang out in that UFC 210 live discussion page. A lot of you were there, over like 2,000 or 3,000 comments for the WrestleMania show. And, of course, we have our WrestleMania weekend podcasts up. We have Most Ridiculous with Anna Bauer. You can check out how she did on her WrestleMania picks on the sidebar there. But yeah, we had a full slate of shows this weekend as well. I am joined by a guy by the name of Alexander Pawlowski, the associate editor of Fightful.com, and heated rival of me because he's wearing Brewers gear.
Yeah, well, your team and my team are tied for second place after one day of the baseball season. So I think it's going to be, we're playing the same division. Reds versus Brewers. When those two teams come to a head, you and me, we're not going to be friendly, I don't think.
Then we got this Dice Girl 72 in the chat. She's a UNC fan, so I'm not. Sorry, we're not friends for until at least November after the UNC UK business that went down. But we have a happening Raw to talk about. I got lots of people in my mentions mad at me criticizing Finn Balor and his offense. That should be fun. But Monday Night Raw, this is the Raw after Mania, and boy, did WWE really embrace it. They did a full 24 on it, and, you know, the wildest crowd of the year, where up is down and down is up and left is right and right is left. Oh, my God. Wow.
Every Monday after WrestleMania, it's opposite day. Yep.
Man. So, overall, thought it was a pretty damn good show.
Yeah. You were mentioned it was already like an hour and 40 minutes into the show. And that first half of the show flew by, mostly because the first 20 minutes, I think, was people booing. But, you know, when you shave that off, it actually goes by a lot faster than Stephanie McMahon promo. So, I was actually very, very pleasantly surprised with how fast this moved. And I'll be interested to see what goes on next week. If there's going to be a lot of just, like talking about, well, you see, this thing happened last week. So we're going to talk about that for 5 minutes before we say what we're going to do this week. I don't need more of those promos ever, but I'm afraid we'll get back to that next week.
We got Raw Talk on after Raw as well, guys. So we'll provide you with updates for that one. Also, Goldberg is on his way out to the ring right now. And yes, Raw is off the air, by the way, guys. This is I guess a network only deal, but we'll keep you up to date on all that stuff. The show kicks off with a huge Undertaker delete, Roman sucks chants. Like, it's wild.
Fuck
it's
you,
wild.
Roman chants. Like, that was bad.
WWE just let those chants ride for a couple of minutes. They just let it go and eventually brought him out. Reigns comes out, and boy, this was a unique segment. This was something different, something cool, something very special, something that had to have been predicated on this crowd in particular. Roman Reigns comes out, and every time he puts the mic up to his face, the crowd boos. One time he put the mic up to his mouth, and he hadn't said anything, mind you, and the crowd chants, "Shut the fuck up."
Mm-hmm.
Then they chanted, "Go away." And this went on for several minutes, and Reigns had to contain his laughter. Like, he had to contain his laughter. And there was somebody that I saw that said it would have been a lot more effective if he didn't do that. I disagree. I think it worked no matter what. No matter what it did. No matter what he did. Then he just dropped 5 words, then the mic. He said, "This is my yard now, and left, and we didn't see him at all the rest of the night. This was the absolute best thing they could have done with Roman Reigns, whether it were here or Sheboygan. This was the thing to do. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed it within the context of it here tonight. I still don't trust them to not have him be face in peril with Brock or Braun the next time and go right back to what they normally do, where he gets beat on for 15 minutes before he remembers that he's a mutant, and he heals himself and kills the people that he's fighting against. I still don't trust them with Roman. I don't believe that I have reason to trust them with Roman. But I will say this is a step in the right direction. I just don't expect them to continue on this path. But you're right. This was the best thing they could have possibly done with him tonight. And I did appreciate that. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's what I'll say about this.
Yeah, I think, but the thing was, a month after WrestleMania last year, it was the same thing. We saw them treat him in the right manner to make him one of the biggest possible star he could be. Yep. So you never know how long it is before they force the poor guy to say suffering.
I remember last year, the Monday after Mania last year, come on, I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy. And I thought, oh, wow, that was great. That was impeccably delivered, well written. That's a new turning point for this guy. And then he was just beating up AJ Styles.
That's back-to-back Raw after Manias that he's had great promos, and then you just never know what's going to happen next.
Never know what's going to happen next.
I do think he could be the biggest thing in the company if this is the route they go with him.
Yeah.
It's not, and some people, I don't like to generalize, but in my thing, it's not that I don't want to watch him. I think he's a good wrestler. I think he's more than capable of carrying a character. I just don't want to be insulted whenever I see the guy on there. Like I said, stop telling me he's an underdog. He's not.
This is the thing, is that they're walking such a fine line with him because they don't want to lose out on that kid merch money. They don't want to lose out on he's a superhero. So they're never going to tilt him all the way over to a point where we can respect him for being this lone wolf badass. You know what I mean? But they understand that they can't just have him be Cena with, longer, wetter hair. There has to be something else, a bigger edge to him. Otherwise, it's not going to work at all. So they're walking this fine line. They're fence sitting. And I feel like they really have to go either way. Embrace the hate if you want to make him a superhero and dress him in big, bright colors and have him just smile at the camera and wink a lot, or turn him the whole way. Have him beat up one of our favorites, not the Undertaker, and then begrudgingly say, well, I did what I had to do. Actually have him do it. And because he just doesn't like the look of that guy's face, do something. I don't know.
Also, this gives me a great idea, the fiery underdog. If James Ellsworth ever turns babyface, he's got to be the fiery underhog. That's got to happen. Apparently, Goldberg is out there thinking his family brought his son into the ring and his son tripped over the barricade.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Was he shirtless?
How long before his kid wins the Cruiserweight Championship?
I don't know. 6 months?
Hardys are back. Great reaction for them. Huge delete chance. Matt is semi-broken.
Yep.
Somewhat broken. The story of this match really is the chance. Delete, obsolete, and fuck that owl.
Yep. Yes.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, fuck that owl chance.
Jeff uses the stairs to help him with poetry and motion. They defeated Anderson and Gallows, retained the tag team championships. So that rematch out the window. Yep. Jeff kicks out of the boot of doom and then kills Gallows with a swanton bomb. Yeah. He absolutely massacred Luke Gallows with a swanton bomb. Yeah, they're rusty.
Yeah,
they're a little rusty, and that's for guys who work a lot.
Yeah, they're rusty. But the thing is that the stuff that they I mean, when you're watching them do stuff in TNA, the old TNA over the summer, all the way until wintertime, when they were doing stuff and it wasn't, at the Hardy compound, but in the zone of impact, they looked like this. They were moving around a little gingerly, they weren't doing the same stuff, but I don't mind because, I mean, this is a major deal. It's so cool to see Matt hit a twist of fate and then stand up near the turnbuckles and wait for Jeff to hit the swanton. It feels like 2001 all over again. Like, I should say that, like, my favorite era of WWE was the era of the TLC matches between the Dudleys and Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. That was my jam. Those were my favorite matches of all time, are the two TLC matches. So to see these guys who I loved, now going on 20 years ago, back in this place with these people who still love them, I think it's a really, really cool moment for them last night and tonight.
By the way, guys, I've got some more info on the Goldberg thing, which I'll approach after this. Yeah, good to see the Hardy Boys back, but man, that had me a little worried about how they feel physically. Now, to be fair, they worked all WrestleMania weekend, including back-to-back ladder matches. So, hey, I'll reserve that for the future. Now, this next match, I will go as far as to say it's probably the best cruiserweight match I've seen on Raw so far. But I get the feeling that something got you all up in your triggers in this one. And I'm going to let you have at it. Because I'm ready. I'm ready to take it all in.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm more disappointed than angry. Pop the beach ball, pieces of you garbage. What are you doing? Like, this is great. These two guys. I mean, Neville, who yesterday at Mania had a great match with Austin Aries and has been he single-handedly made the cruiserweight division mean something, has been doing amazing work since he turned heel. He's been so great. And this guy, Mustafa Ali, who I really believe could be the babyface future of the division. He's really, really good. He's so athletic and charismatic in the ring, and they never let him show it on the mic. He does little videos where he's really good at speaking to his fans and stuff. He could be something really special. And these two guys had an amazing match. And what are you doing? Chanting Beach Ball Mania. Come on, guys. Really? But what was really funny is that you could actually watch people watching the beach ball like bounce around and like little children. And then they'd look in the ring for a second and see a springboard Spanish fly and go, wow, that was great. That's really cool. Beach ball. Like, that's what?
It's a fucking beach ball, guys.
It's a beach ball. It's a beach ball.
Whoop-de goddamn do.
You can't do this, people.
It was cute like 5 years ago. When it was cute 5 years ago. Robbie Fox of Barstool Sports had posted, hey, look, it's a bunch of people who typically cry about how they treat the cruiserweight division, mistreating the cruiserweight division while they're at a show. Yep, that's usually how it is. Neville comes out and he says he's done everything that he would and is interrupted by Mustafa Ali's music. I thought Ali would get a surprise win here even, but I'm glad that it went this way because Neville needs to stay dominant. Ali landed a sick wheel kick and an even cooler dive to the outside. This just was an outstanding match, and they were so worried about that damn beach ball. Mustafa hits the springboard Spanish fly, then a reverse Rana. That got the crowd's attention. Then a big DDT, misses his imploding 450. Neville teases the red arrow, then gets down and puts him in the rings of Saturn. Afterwards, he should have cut a promo on the beach ball.
Yeah, he should have.
Like, he should have gotten that heel heat there. That would have been cool. He should have just said, your beach ball can go to hell, and the crowd would have just booed him just for being a curmudgeon. It would have been great. Tomorrow night, we have a Fatal 4-Way on 205 Live to determine a new cruiserweight top contender. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, who's it? It's Aries, Ali, Gallagher, and who's the fourth?
Who gives a shit?
I know. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Aries again, Aries versus Neville at Payback would be, one more time and have have Aries get the win there. But I also would love for them to keep this thing going where Neville has a great 1 month program with a new baby face, then moves on to the next one and have that continue until SummerSlam. He's that good. And I would love to see Ali do it. This kid is really good. Here's the thing that I've been watching him since the Cruiserweight Classic, where he was just this nobody from small indie promotions he's an ex-cop from Chicago. And nobody knew who he was, and he came in and wowed everybody in the Cruiserweight Classic. And I've been watching him ever since. I haven't missed a match since he's been on the main roster. He hasn't shown you everything in these past couple of matches that he can do. There's a lot more stuff than this guy can do, and he works really well off of Neville. He took that short clothesline from Neville. It looked like it murdered him. Like, he's really, really good at selling the power of Neville. I think these guys could have an amazing 20-minute, Payback's a B-level, pay-per-view. That's what those pay-per-views are made for, this kind of really cool show-stealing cruiserweight one-on-one match. Let it be Ali. That's who I want.
I wouldn't mind seeing these guys get a gimmick match every now and then too, because they never get that. It's almost like the old Divas division where that is the gimmick. Right. They're little guys. That is the gimmick. They don't get a gimmick match. I would love to see Mustafa Ali and Neville go through some tables or jump off a ladder or something like that.
What I'm looking forward to is that Extreme Rules is a Raw pay-per-view. So give me that 8-man cruiserweight ladder match at Extreme Rules. That's what I'm just looking forward to so much.
I just thought this match was phenomenal, and I have not been invested in that cruiserweight division. I was one of the people who championed bringing it back, but I just thought it's been handled poorly on Raw. This was great stuff. This was great wrestling, and you couldn't get you couldn't ask for. I don't want to say a better crowd. This was the crowd you would want to do this match in front of. It's just a goddamn beach ball, We cut outside to a limo, and Vince McMahon gets out of it, looking trim.
Yeah.
Looking trim. Now, before we get into this segment, I'll tell you about the Goldberg thing. He says, never say never about a return to WWE. His kid's crying. It's really emotional. His kid tries to hop up. He hops up on the barricade, and he's on his knees and tries to do an athletic jump where he'll jump down off of the barricade and put his feet out, but then he falls flat on his ass. Poor kid.
No.
Feel bad for him. Goldberg cut a heartfelt promo about his kid and winning the Universal title and how he and Brock pretty much fixed the putrid match at Mania 20. A minute after he ended his promo, he took the mic again saying, never say never, which kind of hints that Goldberg might not be fully retired. This is from Carlos Toro, our lead boxing writer. Also, I feel like the complaining he's done about training over the last 6 months, it's got to piss off somebody like Hardbody Mahal.
Yeah.
I'd imagine Hardbody Mahal is are you fucking kidding me?
Right. Right.
Kind of.
I guess my thought for Hardbody would be, how old is Hardbody? 32, 33?
Still. Hey, man, still.
I mean, at 50 years old, I can understand how that would be a lot harder on his
Nobody
body.
told him to eat 20,000 calories a day, Alex. Nobody made him do that.
Yeah, that's true. This is the thing. I was never opposed to the idea of a Goldberg comes back and has one last match. But this whole thing was what I didn't like. So, you know what? If he wants to show up at SummerSlam and wrestle somebody, if they want to build somebody, a mid-card heel for a little bit, and feed that guy who did, to Goldberg, whatever, fine. But I wouldn't be opposed to this being the last time we ever see Goldberg in a ring.
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Roman Reigns beat Goldberg in 4 minutes at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to this from the way the promo was going with Paul Heyman. It sure seems like Roman's got something else on his dance card for the immediate future.
Maybe not. Mr. McMahon comes out, the crowd chants his theme, and then it was so funny. It was so funny because I saw all these people say, yeah, chant that Roman sucks, but cheer the man who's booking him. And I'm like, guys, you can dislike Vince McMahon as a booker and still enjoy and respect Mr. McMahon as a character.
What I did love was that they were chanting at Vince McMahon, Roman sucks.
Yes, they were like, hey, we're
McMahon.
glad to see you. We're glad to see you. But by the way, you still owe us that money. One of those things. Remember that $20 I loaned you?
No,
Can I get that back?
it's like we like you. We just hate your son. Like it's just it was weird. But I did appreciate that. Yeah, it's always cool to see Vince. This was not expected. I didn't think Vince was going to be here. I don't know if the crowd thought he was going to be there either. So that's a major deal. And they greeted him well because everyone loves to sing along to that song. But yeah, they're not going to let him forget that they hate the way he's booking the top of his division.
Oh man, so Vince comes out and announces a superstar shakeup for next week. It is not a draft. I had to amend my article. Let's do an over-under. How many times will you and I collectively have to type superstar shakeup before next Monday?
1 million.
Just on Fightful.com.
Too many. Whatever the number is, it's too many.
I'm going to say at least 25.
Yeah, at least.
I'll say 25.
Yeah.
He says that Stephanie will be out for some time and it gets a giant pop.
Yeah.
And Vince, the master, just really just drives it home. Yeah, he's great with this. Hey, Roman Reigns, I didn't mention earlier, he pointed to his palm when he had the crowd in the palm of his hands.
Yeah, that's good.
That was good stuff too. He introduces the new Raw GM.
That's good.
And he's interrupted by Teddy Long dancing like I've never seen Teddy dance before. Teddy Long has never been as good as he was on this night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal a line.
Holla, holla.
What did you think of this?
I love Teddy. I think it's really great, but I do think it's kind of funny that he has the same gimmick as R-Truth. Oh,
my bad.
My bad. Yep.
As Jeff Jarrett said in his return promo to TNA a couple years ago, Teddy Long ain't as good as he once was, but on this night, he was as good once as he ever was.
Yep.
As Toby Keith says. This was phenomenal. I don't know the last time I laughed so hard at a wrestling segment because, yeah, that was fantastic. And he was just like, well, okay, because I feel like the crowd was starting to get sad that Teddy was sad. Yeah. And then he saved it. So that was good. They bring out Kurt Angle. What a pop. Alex, this is great.
Huge pop. It was so great to see Angle back. We're going to talk about this later, but he was great in his scripted backstage little scenes too. But I loved him coming out, and there were people who just don't get it. I guess they're too young or didn't watch back then. But the idea that you think that the crowd chanting "You suck" during Angle's music is somehow an insult to Kurt Angle, you have no idea what's going on. So yeah, the idea of 70,000 people last night chanting "You suck" at him, and tonight again in time with the music. It's such an amazing, like a little inside joke for his fans and him, and it really brought it home for me. Like it's Kurt Angle, he's back. It's like it's Kurt Angle. Like it's so cool to have him back because he was such a huge part. Like at the same time, like if I was also watching during the time of the TLC matches, at the same time, you had Kurt Angle very heavily involved in the main event scene and doing great work, not only in the ring, but allowing himself to be made fun of outside of the ring with guitars being played and little hats being worn and driving milk trucks to the ring and everything. He's great. He's a huge part of that time period in WWE, and I didn't know if we'd ever see him back.
Let's go ahead and get into that. Get into his backstage stuff. He simply says he's happy to be back on Raw. So that's cool. Then he has this, like, his comedic timing was just impeccable with Enzo and Cass backstage.
Yeah.
Enzo and Kurt Angle played off of each other supremely. And this is a shame because I get a feeling that maybe Enzo and Cass head to SmackDown next week because they're putting over a team on Raw. Yeah, but hey, you know what? I'm willing to bet that Enzo could work very well off of Daniel Bryan as well.
That's true.
Because Daniel Bryan has one of the best senses of humor in WWE history. That guy does.
It's true.
Sami Zayn is also backstage trying to buddy up with Kurt. Hardbody Mahal interrupts, and that guy is terrible. And Kurt Angle makes his first mess up because he books Hardbody Mahal in a match. No, Kurt.
No. I do want to say the thing that really got me was so great. You're right. The timing was so impeccable, but all the stuff with Enzo and Cass was all great. And then the very end, after Cass spells S-A-W-S-T, Swift, and then they leave, and Angle takes the perfect pause, thinks, that's not how you spell soft. It was so perfectly done. Like, I laughed, I cackled on my couch. That was so great. And yeah, all the things that they're going back to Sami Zayn being the guy who overthinks everything and can't stop talking, which is it was better used here than it was in that thing where he was trying to strategize with the Shield in that one piece. I like that here. I don't know why they're pushing Jinder at this. Like, not really pushing, but like, you're utilizing him. I guess they're saying, good for you getting into shape, buddy. I guess we'll have you do stuff. You'll be like second to last out in the Battle Royal, and then you'll have a featured match against one of our top baby faces. All right.
You're breaking up a little bit. Exit and come back in. So Chris Jericho's backstage. He cuts a promo, and he puts Kevin Owens' finger on the list. Kevin Owens had that great save. Wasn't a kick out. He just got the one finger. The one finger on the rope. That finger made the list. Owens apparently wasn't satisfied with winning the U.S. title because he and Joe jump and beat the shit out of Chris Jericho. This will loom huge later, and we'll talk about that later. 6-woman tag match, which meant somebody's coming back.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to come back. Whether it's Summer Rae, whether it's Emma, somebody's coming back because I don't think they're going to put Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox in this. It seems like Alicia Fox just doesn't wrestle anymore, except on main event. Emma is back, and she has a great random interaction with the announce table where she goes and she stomps on it.
Yeah.
That was neat.
Yeah. It was amazing.
I was so happy. And she pulls Bayley's ponytail. I love that. This match was really fine except for the shit double drop kick from Dana and Sasha. By the way, Alex, can you explain to me why Sasha and Dana are getting along?
No. Don't you understand?
Why Bayley and Dana are getting along?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
No.
I hate it too.
Dana didn't stop being their enemy, though.
Right. I hate it too, but that is the way that it works. And it sucks. But you have to you have to accept it. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to be a WWE fan.
Listen, guys, I hate slice wrestling on Twitter, and I've had my issues with What Culture. If they go at it, I'm not like, yeah, What Culture, you showed them. I'm like, screw both of you dipshits.
That's true. I totally understand. I do. Dana being on Bayley and Sasha's side does give us the wonderful image of Dana being left hanging for a high five by Bayley.
Yes.
That was great. So that
they all held the hands up and all that stuff after.
Yeah. Emma, I'm in love with Emma. Evil Emma was my jam before. Now that she's coming out and doing her amazing stuff, her little dance, her bomb, the little Macarena thing she does that I love. She's doing it on the announce table. She's still wearing the aviators and the wonderful leather half gloves and the shoulder pads. And then at the end of the match, when Charlotte and Nia get into it, Nia turns and looks at Emma and she's like, no, it's cool. You have fun. And she rolls out of the ring. She's like, no, you girls do your thing. I'm not involved in this. She's amazing. I've missed her so much. She can add so much to this division. I want a one-on-one program with her and Bayley. I want it now. I love her, and I want to see more and more of her. She adds so many different wrinkles to this thing. She can feud with any of these girls. She doesn't
face
care.
or heel, doesn't matter.
I love it
because she is Evil Emma. She can make it work with anybody.
Right.
So the match ends when Sasha Banks has a great counter into the Banks statement, I thought. Got the tap out for the win. Charlotte gets pissy, and Nia Jax beats her ass.
Yep.
Where's this going?
I think Charlotte's going to SmackDown.
That would be a shot in the arm.
Yep.
That's bad news for Alexa Bliss, though, unless Alexa Bliss comes to Raw.
That's the whole thing. I think the women's division is getting a nice upheaval. I think that's going to be – there's going to be cool cross things because really, like, we've seen Sasha and Charlotte enough times. Enough. Yeah. But I haven't seen Charlotte and Becky in a while. That could be fun.
And there's a challenge there. There's a challenge there. Like, can Bayley and Sasha get out of Alexa Bliss what they need to get out of her? We've seen that Alexa can be carried to some stuff. She's still very green. But I'm interested to see that, too. People are asking if we're going to do a mock draft. No, we're not, because last year when we did those, there were picks. This is just it's a shakeup.
It's a superstar shakeup, or as I'm going to be calling it this whole week, the soup shake.
God damn it. Okay, the Hardys are talking out of character. Completely out of character, with the exception of the Hardys saying they were on an expedition of gold.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's lame. It ain't gonna last.
Ugh.
It ain't gonna last. They'll end up doing it. I think they'll end up doing it.
Ugh.
New Day is out. They have LOD spikes and boxing gloves, and on the shoulder pads are ice cream cones, which I thought was incredibly clever. This is brilliant to me.
Yeah.
They issue an open challenge, and it was answered by The Revival.
I'll say yeah. Yeah.
Don't be a mark, Alex.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna. Anna Bauer and I are both giant marks for this team, and I will continue to be that for The Revival. I'm so happy for them. I didn't know when or if they were being called up, and I believe they are the best tag team in the world right now. They can. I want a real feud with all these people. The whole thing is that now with the soup shake that's happening next week, who knows where any of these people wind up? But could American Alpha and Revival wind up on the same brand? Could that happen? Because you could run that forever. Those guys are so good together. That's what American Alpha needs is a team that's dastardly for them to really, really feud with and get great matches out of each other. Because American Alpha is nothing. They're kind of milquetoast. But if you watch Revival, like that's what the whole thing is. Usos were trying to be that, but nobody really from the Usos because they were taking out knees left and right, but nobody still. It wasn't the same level of heat that the Revival can generate. All the stuff they did with the New Day was all beautiful. They ended with the Shatter Machine, which is going to get over huge on the main roster. That's a really cool double team finisher. And then they went after Kofi, who wasn't even in the match. And they did their little thing where they jump off the top rope and try to smash his knee. These guys are building real heel heat to end. And what I love about them is they're both really deceptively good on the mic. Guys can build heat that way too. There's no end. Any team on either roster, I think the Revival can have a great program with.
Yeah, I wonder, do I want any tag teams on the SmackDown roster after the way that it's been treated? And it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to see somebody every week to have great storylines. That first season of Lucha Underground really showed and how well that could be employed. Guys, make sure you subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. Leave us a nice thumbs up. Also, ProWrestlingTees.com/Fightful, ProWrestlingTees.com/Sean Ross Sapp. Support decide, you guys. New Day looked really motivated in this match, like more motivated than I've seen them in a long time. Granted, I've not seen them in the ring for quite a while, but they were going at it. They were ready. Somebody tweeted the image of Dash walking to the ring, and it's like Vince told him, get over as a heel in 10 seconds or you're done, and he kicks over the bike. It was incredible.
Oh, it's such great heel heat. They're so natural at it. I love it.
And a lot of people were like, no, I wanted to see them on SmackDown. Well, one, why would you want to see them on SmackDown? Why? But two, as you mentioned, the Superstar Shakeup, we don't know where any of these people are ending up.
Right.
This is a lot like the 2005, I think, draft, where Raw conveniently had a pay-per-view at the end of the month, so they loaded up the Raw roster, and they were able to use a bunch of guys from that until that one pay-per-view. Then they went over to SmackDown. This is sort of like that for these episodes of Raw and SmackDown. They're loading them up. Revival went with the Shatter Machine, then they attacked Kofi. This was good stuff. These are guys that needed to be up there. This needed to happen. I'm glad. I'm thrilled.
Me too.
Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar out. They are soaking up the cheers. They say that Goldberg won't be back. They run down a list of contenders, including Seth Rollins, Matt, and Jeff Hardy. The Hardy Boys together as well. And they settle on Reigns, and the crowd isn't happy. They want Balor.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they get Braun.
Or do they?
Or do they? Now, Brock puts the belt down as Braun gets face-to-face with him, and Braun backs away. Now, here's the thing. We once said, well, he's showing Undertaker respect. Well, then the next week, Undertaker chokeslammed him. Then he gets in a battle royal, and he's eliminated in a few minutes by a lot of people. But then he backs down to Brock Lesnar. A month and a half ago, this guy was unstoppable. His YouTube numbers were trending up on those that they take a look at. The crowd reactions were up. Are we going to get the Ryback-Rusev replay with Braun Strowman?
Why? Why would you do that? I mean, this is the whole thing with him. It's like, I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, he's everything Vince could possibly want in a mega monster heel. Why would Vince do that to cool him off in such a way without like this isn't even like you put him in a match with Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar beats him. Like that's a way to cool him off. This is like him choosing to not be in a fight. And he's, at least until 6 weeks ago, he proved that he's the baddest ass dude on the planet. It's bewildering the way they're having Braun go now. I mean, it was a really great moment when Braun's music hit and he came down to talk to Brock, but it wasn't even about Brock. You know, he came down and he said, "I heard you want Roman. Maybe after I'm done with him, you can have him." Like it's basically Roman Reigns is Poochie. If Poochie's not in the ring, you have to talk about him like he is there. Like the whole thing was about how much Brock wants to beat up Roman, and then Braun comes out and says, "Well, you can't have Roman until I have him." They're fighting over him, and he's not there. Like it's just I don't get that, and I don't get why Braun wouldn't like throw a punch or shove the guy, or like make Brock like take his belt and say, "I'm not fighting you, biggin. I don't want a piece of you. I want Roman." That's a cool thing, is for Brock to say, no, I'm the champ. We do this on my time. That's cool. And have Braun be the guy. Why does Braun even give a crap about Roman anymore? Roman doesn't have a belt. Roman hasn't done anything to him in weeks. Have Braun come down and say, "Oh, so you think you're the badass? I'm the badass. I want that belt." And Brock say, "No, I don't think so." That's something. That's a thing, but instead they have to make Brock look strong because they have to have him keep being strong so that when Roman beats him at SummerSlam, it means something.
Yeah. What more can I say? What more can I say? It's disheartening. Braun back down from two guys. He's been chokeslammed by a retiring Undertaker, thrown out of a battle royal pretty early. Crowd called him a pussy.
Yeah. That's what you've done. That's what your booking has done. You've gotten this big guy who everyone loved, who everyone in that crowd, I guarantee you, those people loved Braun. And they were so excited when he came out, and then you got him calling him a pussy as he was leaving. That's what you did. Your booking did that, Creative and Vince. Are you proud of yourselves?
Whew. Top contenders match. Cesaro and Sheamus defeated Enzo and Cass. What do you think of this match?
Good. I love the finish. The finish was amazing. Like, that was so cool. They had the whole thing set up for the rocket launcher or whatever they call it, the bada boom shakalaka. God, I hate that name for it. And then bro kick out of nowhere to Cass, and then Sheamus picks up Enzo and tosses him off the top turnbuckle into a Swiss Death uppercut. 1, 2, 3. That was that. Oh, it was so great. I love the finish. All of it was good, and like what you said was great. I honestly think this may be the way to write off Enzo and Cass. Enzo even mentioned it in his thing with Kurt. I don't even know where I'm going to be. I could be on SmackDown. I might talk to Daniel Bryan about this. So they're setting you up for the possibility of Enzo and Cass being on SmackDown.
And we don't even know if it's a draft. It just might be like a mandated trade or something.
Right. That's what you're right. The soup shake could be anything. It does, like, one thing is, like, does each general manager get to pick 5 names from the other team? Like, it's an expansion draft. Like, it's only 5. That's it. You can't take the whole roster and shake the whole thing up. It's just going to be like, do people get our champions protected? All this kind of stuff could be a really fun way of doing stuff next week.
Sheamus and Cesaro messed up a sloppy spot in the corner to start off, but I mean, Sheamus's eye is green. All his arm is green, his back is green, his legs are green. That poor guy, man.
He's all bruised up.
Yeah. I love Orlando Magic jerseys. I do, because I grew up in the Shaq era, the Penny era, but Enzo butchered that damn thing.
Yeah.
That fool. Cesaro could have kept Enzo in that Cesaro swing for an hour, I think.
Yeah. That was nice.
I thought it was going to go like 5 times as long as it did.
Yeah.
But it didn't. The finish to that match, as you mentioned, the rocket launcher into the European uppercut. Phenomenal. Sami Zayn defeated Jinder Mahal. Mahal attacks Sami before the match. Sami sells like crazy for Jinder and then beats him. Is there anything to talk about?
No. Nope. Good
for Sami. I had people always calling him a jobber. I'm like, guys, he's main evented Raw multiple times this year.
No. This whole thing is that the reason he's a jobber is because he doesn't have the look that certain people like to have about all these top guys. But he's proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that he can work like nobody else. And he sells amazingly, makes everybody he works with look like $1 million. And if they wanted to, they could book him as the ultimate underdog babyface, and when he won the championship, people would go ape for it. But they don't want to do that just yet. I hope they do eventually before he retires. But they could really, really do that with him whenever they wanted to.
Main event time. It's Seth Rollins. He's out of a partner because Chris Jericho got attacked by Samoa Joe's, and Finn Balor is back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've got a lot to talk about here. One, Seth Rollins injured Finn Balor and bragged about it. Now, to Rollins' credit, he has spent the better part of several weeks apologizing for shitty things that he has done, saying that Triple H made him be somebody he didn't want to be. And really, that all culminated with what happened a couple weeks later, because this was one of his last acts before that happened. But they didn't mention it at all on commentary, did they?
No, they're staying away from it.
Insulting.
Yeah. It was one thing, like, what saved it is that Seth didn't find his partner after Jericho was taken out. Kurt found it for him, right? Like, that's something I'm pretty sure that was correct. So that saves it from, like, I went and found my best buddy Finn, and he said he's going to be my partner. It was selected for him, and they were able to coexist in the match. And at the end, they were eyeing each other warily after the match was finished. And then Seth, at the end, finally walked over, grabbed Finn's arm, and raised it. I think there is a very cool possibility for a fun promo to really solidify Seth Rollins as a total babyface, and Finn Balor as well, as these guys being this cool unit, because they together all over their Instagram, these guys rehab together, train together. I think there's a point where they can just come out and say that Seth, as he was injured again and thought maybe he was going to be gone forever, he reached out to Finn and apologized and said, I can't believe that I did that to you. I've been injured and out too. It sucks. And I want that to be this thing, and Finn to be the bigger man, and this kind of a thing, whatever. I think there's a really great opportunity for them to have that, but if they never have it, that's insulting. But I believe that because tonight was so chock-a-block full of action and very few 20-minute talking promos in the ring, I think we're going to go back to that pretty soon. And when we do, we're going to get that promo between Seth and Finn where they say water under the bridge. But we didn't get that tonight, so it did feel kind of odd to watch them together.
Yeah, it's so easy to explain that. It always just takes a little segment.
Yep.
That's all it takes. Just one little segment. And it brings all that around. Just say, it's Finn Balor go, hey, I knew what I was signing up for.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. That's one of those, hey, Seth is taping up his wrist and they're doing all that. I knew what I was getting into.
You could do it in 45 seconds, but they'll probably take 10 minutes.
I got a lot of trash online because I criticized Balor's offense. And it's something you're going to hear me say several times in the future, guys.
Oh, yeah.
He does kicks and stomps, and that's it. He does a sling blade. I had this one woman say, well, he does a lot more stuff than Roman. No, not in WWE. He doesn't.
No.
Not since 2014.
No. This is the
He's
thing.
not done more than Roman.
I agree with you. Objectively, most of his offense is kicks and stomps. He does other things too, but the majority of his offense is kicks and stomps. And I like watching him do those things. That's the thing. Like I can be objective about the things that he doesn't have a lot of variance, and I find watching him utterly compelling. And if you don't, that's fine too. But we can agree on the fact we can agree on the fact that he doesn't have a lot of variance in his moveset. But I still love watching him perform it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking. I like the entrance. I like all that stuff. I'm not a big fan of the dude in the ring. I don't like his finish. I don't like his offense. But if you all do, that's fine. He's going to be a big part of the WWE for a very long time. It's not like I'm saying, hell, get him off TV because he can't do anything but kick. I'd like to see him switch it up a little bit. Because honestly, if somebody worked over his ankle, that's his offense. Well, I don't know. Because I watched Seth Rollins do 400 dives in this match, and it pissed me the hell off. Yeah. Because if they hadn't sold the knee thing, this would have been excellent. But not only did he jump around a bunch, he did one of the prettiest dives I've ever seen him do to the outside. He did his old springboard flying knee and hit Owens with the knee that he hurt, Alex.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's a ligament damage thing. And they sometimes can, like, when there's a lot of weird things that, like, there's certain things that make the knee hurt in wrestling, kayfabe stuff, that always make the knee hurt, and things that don't. And I'm pretty sure that's not consistent. Like when you land after jumping off of something, that can hurt, just landing on your feet. But the jumping off of something doesn't hurt the knee. And also, there's nothing worse to the ligament of your knee than hitting your kneecap on something, which is not how ligaments work. So it's just a weird deal that we all have to accept the fact that this kind of damage hurts your knee and this kind doesn't. And it's a weird thing because they played up the knee so much in the build up to Triple H, the match yesterday, and during the match yesterday, and they're doing it today. Like, is the knee ever going to be a place where it's healed enough that he doesn't have to sell damage to it throughout every match he's in? Because I want to see Seth Rollins have a match. I don't need to see Seth Rollins have a match that he's limping through.
Yeah.
Every single time I see Seth Rollins wrestle, I'd like him to heal up enough, let's say between now and next Monday, that he doesn't have to do that anymore.
I mean, it's like the Nakamura thing. They always work over his leg because of the knee offense. And I actually had somebody say, well, do you complain about Nakamura using the knee offense? His is a lot more variant than kick, stomp, drop kick. I hate front drop kicks anyway, especially from a 170-pound guy. But yeah, the Rollins stuff almost downright offended me. If they were pulling off heel hooks and stuff like that, they would make a lot more sense to me than kicking the knee.
Yeah.
Balor gets the win. It was the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. His
and
first
Triple
night
H,
back,
Triple H has 4 of his babies.
Yeah, he even tweeted it. He tweeted his thing like, and we are NXT, and he had pictures of the 4 of them when they won their titles for the first time. And that was really cool. And yet one of those 4 guys we just did a whole program with about how you disowned him and thought you never should have put the title on him in NXT. So, maybe have like 2 Twitter accounts, like one where you do all kayfabe and one where you're like the creator, like one where you're Triple H creator, one where you're Triple H destructor, But yeah, I thought it was really cool to see all 4 guys in the ring were former NXT champs. That was a really cool thing. And I'm excited to see where all this goes. I mean, Finn got the pin on Owens. Is there a Finn Owens program in the works for after Jericho goes away? There's a lot of other things they could do. I'm almost certain they're doing a Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins thing at Payback. But we're going to see where anybody could wind up anywhere after the Soup Shake next week.
I want to get your thoughts. Who do you think shows up on SmackDown tomorrow? Eric Rowan is cleared.
Yeah.
Summer Rae, which she's not going to be a big return girl.
No.
She's cleared to come back. There are rumors Nakamura is ready.
They're talking Andrade Almas.
Hey, you know what? I would love that if he's spinning his wheels that much in NXT. Ty Dillinger is the name I've heard.
Yeah. Although 3 of those things, somebody was talking about was saying that, well, does the fact that Finn came up tonight, does that mean we're getting AJ versus Shinsuke tomorrow? And I'm like, well, the fact that it's not out of the realm of possibility is pretty awesome.
That should be on a pay-per-view main event.
Yeah. Maybe there's not a finish, but they could do something where they tease it or whatever. Yeah, it's weird to think of one of those after Mania shows that's only 2 hours long. Because like we were talking about, this one flew by. I don't know what they're going to do, but they have to address a bunch of stuff. They have to address the tag team thing, the fact there was no tag match at Mania. The Usos are still champs. What's going on there?
Daniel Bryan's got to show some remorse for that. He's got to say, I failed you guys.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. And the Usos should rightfully be pissed at Daniel Bryan for not getting them a match at Mania. And then this thing with Randy Orton. Overcoming the dark, Satanistic.
Oh my God, he's gonna have a
projector controlling powers. How did he ever overcome the projector worms to defeat Bray Wyatt? I guess they're really pushing this thing that what I would love. I would love to see. I want Luke Harper off of SmackDown, and if they're not going to do a thing where he is working with Bray, and possibly rejoining, possibly feuding with. If he's just going to be a lone wolf, get him over to Raw and away from all this. Hell, I wouldn't mind for no other reason than I think the matches would be great. Luke Harper versus Braun, like do that on Raw for a month. That'd be fun. If Braun's just spinning his wheels, not doing anything, those guys could have fun matches. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing with all of this stuff. Rowan, I think, should come back. Honestly, I would have loved to see, Harper and Rowan, if they're not with Wyatt anymore, not look like they did when they were Wyatt family members. Trim the beard a little bit. I don't know. Get a nice little shape. going?
Move to the suburbs. They can wear like my shirt and visors, tip to the side, upside down. Carry their golf bags around.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I just want to see them team up again. We've never seen a proper run or reign, and they were headed for it last year. They were primed for it.
My top hope in all of this somehow is that Bo Dallas winds up wherever Bray is, and the two of them team together. And it's I would do this: Bray and Bo together versus Luke and Eric. Because Eric Rowan, all the people remember, if you say Eric Rowan, what's your most memorable thing? People will say, didn't he's the guy who lost in 6 seconds to The Rock? But like when he and Harper were a legit tag team, and they were having battles with the Shield and stuff, those guys could really work. They could go in the ring, and I want that. I want that Eric Rowan, not the guy who gets jumped out to The Rock in 6 seconds. So hopefully Rowan's back. He's fully healthy, and he and Harper can team together again.
Yeah, I just wait for that moment that Bray saves Bo from a beatdown or something like that. Or I was waiting for it for years, really. And then Bo just embraces Bray, and he becomes the whipping boy.
Yeah.
But here's the sad, scary thing: Bray is owed a rematch. Oh.
Yeah,
he's owed a time.
What's he going to turn the ring into now? Is it what spiders? Oh, he's going to turn the ring into spiders. There could be tarantulas on the ring. You creepy.
Miserable. Guys, we are back tomorrow night with Anna Bauer. I don't think Jeff Hawkins will be on the show. He is in Orlando right now. You get the lovely Anna Bauer, host of Most Ridiculous. Head over to Fightful.com. See how she did on her picks. Of course, subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn has all that stuff. I think you can subscribe through their app. I think we're on Google Play. I don't know all the out. We're on a lot of them. We're in talks to maybe do some other stuff too. Maybe I'll bring that up on the Wednesday podcast with Jimmy Van. If you all haven't seen that, it's Jimmy Van, the guy who started the website, recruited me to start it up. It's kind of us talking everything from wrestling to the backstage stuff of running a wrestling website. It's kind of cool. Thursday, Friday, Matt Riddle and Shane Helms podcasts. I'm going to talk to them about their WrestleMania weekend. Somebody says, turn on your light, Sean. No, I have the rope light back there. I have the light right here. Why do you all need it back there? It kills my eyes. Alex, anything to tell the people before we go?
You can follow me at Pawlowski the Fourth on Twitter, and watch for my Off Track with A-Train posts that I do.
Watch for all the posts.
Well, all the posts, but the fun ones are the fun ones.
Yeah.
But I'm planning something for tomorrow where I'm going to analyze all of the Hardy stuff yesterday and today and determine just how broken they are on a scale of 1 to 10. And after what I've heard about Raw Talk, I'm thinking it might be like a 2, and that makes me sad.
Your boys have UFC 210 coverage this weekend. Rumble Johnson versus Daniel Cormier for the light heavyweight title. It's going to be a banger. I think the podcast will be at 11 a.m. Sunday because Joe will be in Toronto, so he'll be doing post-fight scrums and stuff like that. So it'll be probably 11 a.m. Sunday morning. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. For last night, we've done great numbers the last 2 nights, especially for a site that hasn't even been up for like 10 months. That is incredible. From the bottom of my heart, guys, I want to thank you all so much. Over 1,000 of you listened live. That was unbelievable. I didn't expect that in our first year. I expected that down the line, but outstanding stuff, and you all really seem to be liking these shows that we do, and we give you plenty of them. If you don't like one, you're probably going to like another. So thank you guys so much, and thank you, those of you who participated in the chat, both on YouTube and over at Fightful.com. Go register absolutely free at Fightful.com. I do members-only shows that are never released. I don't treat those like the Riddle and Helms shows where I release them a few days later. They are never released. They are only members only. I usually have a guest. and I tell a little story about a website that I have worked for before, why I went there, why I left, if anything happened there, maybe to give you all a little insight on how to get into the business and what kind of websites pay what and their methods, and maybe some of their positives and negatives. But thank you guys so much, and until tomorrow night, we're out.